Hello, YouTube. Welcome to the FPL Pubcast, where every Tuesday at 6 p.m. we are here to preview the upcoming game week. This week, game week 24. In this one, in addition to previewing the game week, we're going to have a look back at how we got on in game week 23, have a look at the fixtures for this week, some wildcard drafts, and a little bit to do with the in and out going transfers and if they may affect FPL. And then at the end, we'll have a look at our teams for game week 24, what transfers we're going to make. And we're very privileged today to be joined by, I think you're the first special guest we've had on in 2026, Jack, a.k.a. Redditor, a.k.a. the host of Fantasy Football Hub. How are you doing, mate?
I'm good, mate. Thanks for inviting me. I'm not sure about privilege, but I appreciate it. It's good to be
here. And also, as usual, I'm joined by my, what should I say? I'm trying to come up with a different adjective every week. My glamorous co-host, Nick Triggerlips. How you doing, mate? Nick Trigger.
Yeah, very good. Very exciting day ahead. It's only 7 a.m. here, but we've got Champions League football and then off to the World Busker Festival straight after that. So it should be a good day. I'm looking forward to this podcast.
What is the World Busker Festival?
Oh, it's in Christchurch in New Zealand every year. It's like permanent home for it. So we get buskers from all around the world come here and they perform for like 3 weeks or whatever. And like the streets are absolutely packed and they've got paid events as well and tents in the park. And it's a pretty big thing. It's good.
And also joining us for the second podcast in a row. He's quieter than usual because he's just got up over there in Australia. Darius D-Unit, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, man. Literally have just crawled out of bed for this. But yeah, I'm actually quite excited. I've been getting up 3 a.m. every day because my stupid footyum team's on at 3 a.m. So I'm up an hour earlier than I've been up the last couple of nights. So yeah.
Are you actually at work today? Because I saw your video yesterday. You went to work and then there was no kids there.
Yeah. I've been at work. I was at work today properly. No kids yet. We haven't got kids to next week, so this week should hopefully be fairly easy. And then back to reality next week with a little bit of luck.
They're easing you into it. Okay, all right. So just say a quick load of people in the chat before we start. Hi to Hippie, Podner. Haven't seen you in a while, mate. How you doing? Claire. FPL Nightmare, hello mate. Andrew, Jossie, Paul, Beanie Man. I must have a username. Hello. Calzino, FPL Matty, hello mate. I'm 1974. Jubu87, Rob Taff, Marcello. Is it Marcello or Marcello? I can never remember which one it is. Hello mate. See you're doing very well. I think he's up to 3,000 in the world now. Do you remember he came on just before Christmas, didn't he? He's doing very well. Okay, so let's get into it. So yeah, please do like the stream, to help get it out there, and subscribe if you're new around here. So we go here, Jack, in terms of best to worst in terms of how we did points wise last game week. So first up, we've got Trig, who is on 38 points, which I'm assuming. Well, actually, I know it's a red arrow down to 162k. Trig's team last week was Sanchez 3, Gabriel 1, Tarkowski 4, Virgil van Dijk with a lovely 9 points finally coming in with his bullet shoulder, Anderson 5, Kirky 3, Fernandez 5, Saka 2, Rice 1, Haaland 1, and Thiago captain 4. Yeah, talk us through it, Trig.
Yeah, very strange game week, wasn't it, this one?
Very strange.
I couldn't decide which Anderson to start, and I there wasn't much between them, really. I could have benched Shirky, I guess, but then we found out he was playing, didn't we? So I couldn't really bench him. So poor old Fulham Anderson on the bench again. And it's a long run of leaving points on my bench for the last few weeks. Tarkowski 8 points last week. So, yeah, I mean, the midfield's been very poor, hasn't it? Arsenal and in particular, Saka. But I decided to keep Haaland, even though I knew he wasn't starting. I wasn't 100% sure on that leak, and I thought Haaland would get more minutes than he actually did. But Yeah, not too much to talk about, really. I mean, Virgil was pretty lucky, I think, with that goal. But he's up to 90 points now for the season, so it's not terrible. But for his price, it's not fantastic, I guess.
You did make me laugh on Saturday, Trig, because we do a show on Saturday, Jack, and Trig was like, if Virgil scores a bullet header, I'm on. And then obviously, I think you were meaning that sort of a bit, not expecting it to happen, weren't you, Trig? And then he goes, and then Szoboszlai scores, he says, I'm off again.
Yeah, definitely. No Szoboszlai. Yeah, so not too much to report here. I think everyone's in the same boat. I mean, it's a red arrow, but this time of the season, it's just about treading water, I think, now until the double game weeks come up, really, isn't it? So I'm bouncing around at the moment, just outside the top 100K.
Yeah. Jack, what were you? We'll go to you in a minute, mate. What was your experience of the? Because I think I know Trig found it quite stressful. I kind of found it quite stressful. The leak. Were you in front of your computer or watching a deadline stream or something? Or
no, I just set an alarm, and I knew what like accounts to look out for, really, which maybe is quite sad. But I like Lazy FPL they get the City leaks, so that's the only account I was looking for. I think people a lot of the time, like they get really excited and hyped about leaks, and then they just kind of blindly follow random accounts on Twitter that they've never like actually like validated before. Whereas Lazy FPL for Man City leaks are always legit. So I just looked. When they tweeted, I just used that. I did leave it quite late. I was just quite relaxed about it, and I knew what I was going to do if Foden was benched. Then it got to 10:59, and then the app, I think on my phone. I never normally make transfers on my phone, but I was just sitting on the sofa. I couldn't be bothered to go to the computer, and then the app wasn't working. And then I started to panic, so I was like, if I don't make this move, this is bad. But it went through. But yeah. Still played Haaland like you did, Nick, because I agreed with you. I thought he would play either 0 minutes or more minutes, and I thought he was better than my first bench. But yeah, I don't know. With these leaks, you sort of have to accept that they're likely to happen, and then either you just don't get the news, or you wake up and you know it's going to happen, then you use the news. It's sort of like lose really, because it's not the best having leaks that not everyone's partial to, but it is what it is.
It's difficult when you're in different time zones. Being in
I
New
can imagine,
Zealand, it's very tricky. I think they do need to have a serious look at moving the deadline back. But whether they will or not, in terms of fairness, I think they need to, really.
When would you move it back to?
24 hours. I'd just kill it, have it on the Friday. And the good thing with that would be that nobody would have to actually make it at that time. So you could do it in your own time zone at your leisure between 2 days and 1 day before. No need to do it 5 minutes before the 24-hour deadline. So everybody could do it in a nice, relaxed fashion without having to. I mean, it is even people in the UK, people work in night shift. A lot of people work on Saturdays, for example, and it's not ideal, really. I mean, people say, if you're engaged, you're going to get up in the middle of the night and do it. I mean, I can do that. I did it this week, but it ruined my Sunday because I had no sleep. It's impossible for me to go back to sleep with all that excitement. So I went out to see a play Sunday afternoon and I was half dead, and all because of FPL. And it shouldn't have to be like that, really, I think. And there are probably only a few 100,000 of us that got the leak, and like the other 10 million managers who are at a disadvantage. And it could have been a lot worse, couldn't it? Because if Saka or Thiago had got 2 or 3 goals, then it would have been absolutely massive. And I think there would have been uproar if that had been the case. The fact that people only lost out by 1 point didn't meant that it wasn't so bad. But a lot of people benefited from Foden. Like I did. I took him out at the beginning of last week for Fernandes, which was kind of a risky move, but I made it. Whereas everyone else kind of did it for free with no risk once they found out that Foden wasn't playing. So they all benefited. Or they got Enzo in, or they got Semenyo in and captained him. They're the ones that really benefited. But yeah, I mean, people say it can't be avoided and it's part of the game, but it isn't part of the game. It's like a scourge on the game. and it can be avoided by just moving the deadline. And that's, I think, what they should do. Whether they're doing it or not, I don't know, because Mark Sothers is friends with all the deadline streamers, and they'd be the ones that probably wouldn't like that move. So whether it'll happen or not, I don't know.
I think it is tough to sort of differentiate between information that is like bad information and that's not accessible to everyone, like the leaks that are 15 minutes before the deadline, and then sort of the fun information, if you can call it that engaged managers like, which is embargoed quotes late at night in the UK, or there's no picture of this player getting on the team bus in the morning, or they have not been spotted in the hotel, stuff like that. I think you still want to keep that in, because that can be quite fun, and I do think that is part of the game. If you really want to like analyze it to that level, it can be, and I don't think we should take that away. But I do agree, if there was a way to stop anyone benefiting from leaks, I think that would be healthy. Yeah.
So I like to make my transfers unless I think that I'm going to make a move. Unless I think that I'm going to benefit from listening to a deadline stream. I like to make my move at like 6 on Friday, so I don't even like the late embargoed quotes, because I'm like, tell me what it is now so I can make my moves. You know what I mean? But Darius, I'll bring it, mate. You haven't really spoken yet. What did you watch FPL Nightmares video today, and the idea of being able to change your captain to one of the following day's fixtures, or and also being a substitute player? What did you reckon to that idea? Because I know you weren't really affected by the leaks yourself, were you?
Nah, leaks had nothing to do with. Well, the only leak that it said that O'Reilly started, but I just wasn't convinced that City kept the clean sheet anyway. That was the only thing that affected me. I was saying all week that Haaland would be benched. I was saying all week that Phil Foden would be benched. That's why I sold him straight out the gate on the Saturday night on the lock-in. And turns out my football brain's probably a lot better than a lot of the people out there, because that's exactly what happened, and I called it a week out. In terms of this manual subs and stuff like that, I'm not sure what the aim of FPL is, because if it's to boost engagement and boost the amount of times that people go to the website, click so they can run ads, which you would think that would be their aim.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, you'd think that'd be their aim. You'd think they'd just put it in the game, because it would encourage more people every single week to go to the website, change their teams, do their things or whatever. In AFL fantasy, so over here we've got AFL fantasy when they play AFL.
Australia.
They used to be exactly like FPL. You get to the deadline, your team, that was it. You're locked for the entire week. Then they changed it about, I'm going to say about 6 to 8 years ago, whatever, to rolling lockout. And the amount of extra engagement that boosted through the roof. I reckon the engagement actually, I think they did some numbers on it, more than doubled the engagement in the entire game. Because that means you can go in and change your team. So, for example, you didn't make your transfers before the first game. You'd wait till you got to like the last game, see if there's like, so for example, if there was a player you're worried about that was injured or get pulled out of the lineup, you'd hold a transfer. And then at the end of that, when the lineups all got confirmed for that last game and your player was missing, you could make the transfer still, which was brilliant. So it really boosted engagement because you could do that. So I'm all for manual subs. I think Champions League do it pretty nicely. You get one chance to go a road captain on the Wednesday night. You get a chance to go a different captain on the Thursday. So I've done some really weird captains in UCL because I was like, well, first night, let's have some fun with it. I think I've captained Nuno Mendes and other players that, you wouldn't normally do if you're stuck to one player. And like this year, I've been doing the same kind of thing in FPL, taking on Haaland. It just turns out that I went a little bit too early in the season. But like the last 10 weeks since I've been doing it, I think I've only lost once. So there is some merit to it. But again, it comes down to FPL, what is the aim? And I think like they're governed a lot by these idiots that do content creation, because a lot of them didn't like the assistant manager chip, yet that seemed to grow the game significantly, like through the roof, and yet they got rid of it because they didn't like it. So I don't know. People, unfortunately, some of the big dogs at the top, they don't like change, and I think that they do have, as much as they say they don't, I'm pretty confident they have quite a big say on the way the game goes, and I think they don't like it, so that's why it's not in the game.
Okay, let's move on. You may notice Darius is he's a very humble man. He'll very rarely take any sort of praise for his successes, Jack. That's
But that was well said.
Cecily,
It was well said. I agree with a lot of that.
Should we move on to your team, Jack? So you're on 42 points. Is that green out to 115?
No, it was a small red.
Let's read through your team, mate, before I hand over to you. So Roos 1, Gabriel 1, Timber 1, Hall 1, Fernandez 5, Saka 2, Szoboszlai 13, Anderson 5, Enzo 8, Haaland 1, Captain Thiago 4. Yeah, sorry, mate. Talk us through.
Yeah, it's not too dissimilar to Nick, really. I got Roofs in, I think, 3 game weeks ago instead of Sancho. I sold Raya to get Gabriel because I already had the triple Arsenal, and I sold Raya and got Roofs in instead of Sanchez. That's not looking like a good move. I thought I was going to be at risk of tripling up on Chelsea and needing another slot for Palmer, but that's not going to happen now. So I've lost some points there. Arsenal defenders, I'm fine with. Hall, I'm okay with, and it was one of those weeks where, yeah, the leaks happened. Apart from that, there wasn't crazy rank movement. Szoboszlai was obviously the only player that really did well, but I mean, I think his returns were pretty fortuitous. Like the free kick goal, I think is he's good at free kicks and he's a great ball striker. I think that's quite a low repeat. Like you're not going to repeat that many times in the season. And the assist is from a corner, obviously that can happen. So he is a player that has been poor from an FPL perspective, and I'm not going to let a haul like that cloud my judgment of what I think about him going forward. Enzo came in for Foden after the leak. Fortunate. I wouldn't have made that transfer without that leak. No way, because I thought that Foden could start. I wasn't 100% confident, but I thought maybe 70% he would start, if I'm being honest. So I obviously got that one wrong. And then, yeah, Thiago captain, missed a decent chance, but apart from that, didn't do too much. So yeah, that was it really. It's one of those weeks, like nothing really happened, and just move on to the next week.
You're in a pretty good position, aren't you?
Without the leak, I would have beaten your team by
Yes.
about 3 or 4 points. So
But you have to
it does
remember
make
that
a
Foden
difference,
would have come off the
doesn't
bench and scored a hat-trick.
it?
So yeah, you would have done, exactly.
How long have you been playing, Jack? Because we had you on for. How long have you been playing? Have you got like a decent rank history? And
I've had a couple of seasons in the top 5K. I've been playing properly since, I would say, uni, which would have been, I'm just checking now, 2016, 17. I reckon I started playing properly, like the full season through. So I've played. I think this is my 10th year of playing properly. Yeah, I came 20K last year, 22K the year before, and then I came 1,200th in 21, 22. Wow. A few other not that good finishes in there as well, but I won't mention them. But yeah, I mean, I'm very into it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're in quite a good position. I mean, we'll look later on, but you've got like 3 free transfers and quite a bit in the bank as well, haven't you? So you're in a good position to strike into the top 100K.
I think so. I think I'm relatively well set up. I mean, I do play quite boring, so my team is quite template a lot of the time. And what tends to happen is I'll have like decent greens and then smaller reds, and then that I'll sort of inch my way up. So I sort of limit my goal really is like limit the really bad weeks, and then yeah, hopefully the better weeks are slightly better than the bad weeks. If that makes sense. It's quite a passive way of playing, but that's sort of how I play.
Yeah, quite a similar play
Works,
style,
doesn't it?
Yeah,
I think Harry does the same thing, doesn't he? It's like it's the best way to play, probably. To be fair,
maybe it's boring, but my enjoyment of the game is having the best rank. I've realised, and getting the most points is how I get the most enjoyment out of the game. And I think that maybe, well, for me, I think it's the best way of playing. Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing enjoyable about a big red arrow.
No, exactly.
Yeah, we can ask Darius about that, couldn't we, Darius? But
I haven't had many big red arrows, Gary. I just started the season poorly. I've actually not had a bad red arrow all season. I was looking at my rank history, and I thought I didn't have that many like green arrows, but I've actually got most of my ranks this season have actually been green. It's just I started like nightmare, like an absolute sack of shit down at the bottom, and it's just a slow process to get to the top. But unlike Gary and what Jack said then, like I had the top 5K rank last year, and I found that year way more stressful than this year. This year is so much more fun because I reckon I'm picking picks this year that you guys aren't picking. Like none of you have ever considered owning Harry bloody Wilson, and Harry bloody Wilson keeps delivering magical moments. So I feel like if it wasn't for like some of these, I feel like if I was sitting there towards the top, maybe I would be playing slightly more conservatively. Whereas this year, I'm like, let's just have more fun. And it has been pretty much more fun. Like, for example, I know that Dirty Dom had his moment last week, but the week before, my God, was that fun watching that. That was probably my favorite moment of the season. And then Gary was in there. Jackie, I've got to tell you this. He was in there before, basically going, oh, Gabriel's injured because I had Gabriel captain.
I was trying to wind you up, man.
Yeah, and then as soon as Gary said that, about 2 minutes later, Dirty Dom missed his penalty, and I was like, "Where's Gary? Where's Gary?"
Oh, that was horrible. Yeah,
we got our revenge this week, though. I suppose.
Yeah.
It all evens out. So can we move on to my team? So I think we could see that we do play quite similar because I think we've only got about four players different in our squads. A very similar rank as well. So I'm on 45 points, small green to 113k, Keller 1, Gabriel 1, Timber 1, Hall 1, Anderson 8, Joachim Anderson, Elliot Anderson 5, Enzo 8, Sabozlai 13, Saka 2, Thiago 4, and Haaland 1. So yeah, I only had one free transfer. So when I benefited a fair bit from the news because it resulted in me benching Foden and bringing Anderson, Fulham Anderson in. So that got me 7 points basically. The captaincy, I mean, it didn't really matter where you moved it in the end, did it? Because most people moved to Saka or Thiago and both got the same points. So yeah, I was relatively happy because it's one of those when that deadline thing happens, even though I was watching it, you sort of think, what's the variance going to be from this? You know, what's going to occur as a result of this? And I also tried to transfer the Koala in ahead of Haaland, but then the site crashed, I think. So it didn't even register. So yeah, I'm fairly happy overall. I'd be much more happier if I had like free transfers like you, Jack, though, and 2.6 million the bank, whatever it is.
Yeah, but you did really well, I think, in the panic to not sell Foden for someone else that you weren't 100% sure on, and to just bench him and then play Anderson. Yeah, because I think like, I mean, a lot of the options that are cheaper than them didn't do well. The people brought in and die, for example. I mean, Enzo did well, but you've already got him. So I think that was well played. I think you deserve the points off the bench. Although, like, of Anderson's points, although yes, you were like me, got fortunate from the league, but I think that was well played to bench him.
Yeah, because I made my transfer the night before, which was to get rid of Tavernier and bring Elliot Anderson in. So if I had got Foden out, it would have been for a hit. But
yeah,
I think it would have. I think Bruno, who had taken it for, would have made it up because he got, was it 7 points, something like that? I'm trying to remember 5. Okay, it would have exactly made it up then. Yeah, but it would have been a transfer ahead, I guess. Trig, any thoughts on my team, mate? You obviously keep an eye on it every week on the podcast.
Yeah, it looks decent enough. Yeah, I guess you're going to do Foden to Fernandez.
Yeah, it's the most obvious transfer in the world, isn't it?
There's no one terrible in there, is there?
No.
Goalkeepers. Callagher will have good fixtures again soon, though.
You will do. I mean, one of the things I'm thinking about is playing Dubravka for the next 3. Do you reckon if anyone's in that position, rather than making the goalkeeper position, they should just stick the cheaper keeper in for 3?
Yeah, I haven't looked at his fixtures yet. But...
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't sell Kelleher. I mean, Dubravka, I think he's definitely playable in the next 3 for sure. Yeah, Sunderland away, West Ham home, Palace away. He gets like I think his floor is pretty high as well, especially like in those games. I think, yeah, not worth the transfer on Kelleher. And then, as you say, he has that really good fixture run from 27. So I like that.
Okay, should we move on to look at Darius's team? Darius is top of the pile this week. A season high at 1.3 million. He's got 49 points. Sanchez 3, Gabriel 1, Tarkowski captain, which actually did come in for you, mate, with 8, or comparatively. Chalobah 4, Verts 2, Fernandez 5, Rice 1, your Vice Wilson 10, Bowen 12, Thiago 2, Haaland 1. And then, as you said, O'Reilly on your bench was 6, which I guess is probably your only regret. Talk us through it, mate.
Yeah, I was more annoyed at myself because I had Wilson captain until about Thursday. And then I changed it to Tarkowski because I thought, Tarkowski plays in the last game of the game week. The floor's 4 points in that game, minimum. And then it could be up to 10. Unfortunately, he got the floor, but the floor was a lot better than most other people's captains. It was really weird seeing a lot of people go to Saka captain. I just thought that's just stupid. Like, a part of me just thought all these people that found out about the league, they all moved from Foden to Bruno Fernandes. And if you're buying Bruno Fernandes against Arsenal and then captaining Saka, I just don't understand your logic. Like, Saka hasn't been playing 90 minutes. He's been no good in comparative to what Bruno Fernandes has been outputting. And you kind of knew that if they're bringing in Bruno Fernandes, they must believe that Man United are half a chance of getting a goal. And if Man United get a goal, there's a 50% chance that Bruno Fernandes is involved. So when they did that, I just didn't quite get it. The Thiago one as well, he could have been good, but Nottingham Forest, since Ollie Aina's come back from AFCON, have actually been really good defensively. I was doing the numbers for like my differentials video today. And when he plays in the team, for whatever reason, they do seem to be better defensively. They've kept 2 clean sheets now in the last 2 games when he's been back. No, maybe he has been back for the last 2, and they've both been clean sheets, which is, I thought, an interesting stat that I've just randomly came across. But outside of that, the Chelsea Crystal Palace game, that was a weird game of football. But yeah, I was pretty happy. Like, I just annoyed with myself that I didn't captain Harry Wilson. And a lot of people that watched my video came back today and said, I only captain Harry Wilson because you said and you were thinking about it. I was like, I wish I'd done it as well, but I'm glad that you guys got the points.
Bowen coming in with defensive contributions as well. He's like a striker of an extra.
No DC this week. He's too good. Jared Bowen, the third top scoring forward in the game. He's been elite. Like, no one's predicting him because of the fact that, they all use they're all analytics merchants out there. They're all review. They're all solely on, guess what? West Ham are 18th. And that doesn't compute when you're looking at analytics because you're like 18th place team, Jared Bowen. Who cares if he's on penalties? They're just not a very good team. But Jared Bowen is an elite player, plays 90 minutes every single week. Don't have to worry about him getting benched. And the dude, as we've seen over the course of the first 23 weeks, third best forward in the game. You just bench him in the weeks that are no good. You play him in the other ones.
I think that is why a lot of people went to Saka, because I know he was definitely top of review. I don't know if he was top of Solio as well, Trig, when Haaland went out?
Yeah, projected points he was.
Projected points, I think that's what a lot of them.
Most of them did go straight to Saka. I just didn't fancy him. He hasn't done enough for me lately. And Forest do concede a lot of goals to strikers by all accounts. And I think probably the first time all season Brentford haven't scored at home, probably, isn't it? The one time we captained him and they don't score a goal. So, that result was pretty unexpected. But that's just FPL, isn't it, really?
People thought...
in terms of people bringing in Fernandes, I don't think they expected him to get points necessarily this week. They just bought him because they were going to do it next week anyway. That's why everybody bought him. It made sense. Any points were a bonus. But I don't think anyone who bought him in would have seriously captained him.
When you think about it, though, so Bruno Fernandes obviously comes in, right? And people say, well, why wouldn't you? Well, if you looked at the week before, Arsenal really struggled against Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest are crap. They're 17th. Like, the writing was on the wall when Man United smoked Man City at home last week that they would score at the Emirates. I was very convinced that they were going to score a goal. And maybe I'm a little bit deluded because I'm a Man United fan, but after watching the Arsenal game, I'm now thinking that we're going to win the league and Arsenal are about to bottle it completely. So, by the way, I just saw someone in the chat ask, Jack, who do you support?
I'm a Chelsea fan.
Oh, okay. You guys are stressing if you're going to make the top 4 at this rate with Man United, the big juggernaut waking up.
Yeah. Well, who knows? We're a bit all over the place, but last game was very good. I enjoyed watching that game a lot. I thought we looked good against Palace. Probably proper performance since maybe Barcelona, maybe Arsenal, but it's been a while.
Esteval's best performance for a long time as well, I think.
He looked proper.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Just need some minutes. I so much want to pick him, but I can't, not with the minutes. We'll see what happens tonight. It's going to have a big bearing on my transfer, I think, this week.
Okay, shall we move on to have a look at this week's talking points? So the way I've ordered it, listen, I know I change this slide every week. I've just put 4 teams I reckon would be interesting to discuss, and then if there's any other people you want to talk about, feel free to pull them out, and then we'll look at the wildcard drafts. So I'll start with yourself, Darius, as our resident Man United fan. I mean, obviously everyone's getting in Fernand Bruno. I don't think we need to talk about him, but Cunha, Burmo, who else should we have our eye on, mate? The whole team?
If I could bring in 11 Man United players, I probably would, but alas, you can't do that in the game of FPL. Let's be realistic, though. To be honest, I've already bought in Bruno and Mbumo. They're already in my team, locked and loaded. I might even take a -8 this week and bring in Matheus Cunha again for Verts. I actually think the Man United, if you look at those fixtures, they are going to smoke the crap. Sorry, Colm, I know you're in the chat. I'm predicting 5-1 against Fulham. I reckon the Carrick train is up and loading. Then we've got Spurs, and Spurs are horrendous, and Spurs have still got Frank in place by the time that we go to the Tottenham Hotspur lane. I tell you what, we're going to wipe them probably 5-1 as well. Then we've got West Ham. Sorry, Jared Bowen, he'll get the consolation, but we're smoking you as well. Then we've got Everton away, and they've been crap at home, so we'll smoke them. Then Crystal Palace come to Old Trafford, and they'll be a green fixture by the time they roll up in game week 28. And then we've got Newcastle, and Newcastle can't defend for a biscuit. So I don't see where we're dropping any points. I think that guy's already booked in his barber's appointment in 3 weeks' time. And I think it's happy days. If you're a United fan, go and get your shirt with the number 21 on the back, because it's coming.
Wow.
Jack, I think you said you might have your eyes on in Burma. Is that right?
Yeah, I like Burma. I mean, I wouldn't get 11. The only thing I'll say on United is that I want to see them play against a team where they'll have more of the ball. And I definitely think that, I know they did so well, but there's like in those 2 games, but there's no way that Carrick's gone in there and it's impossible after just a few days before that Man City game to have gone in and changed everything, like, the style of play, the patterns of play, like all that stuff. It's impossible. Structure, transitions, all that stuff is impossible to do in 3 days, which makes me think that the main thing that changed is that the players were so happy and pumped up that Amorim had gone and they could go to a back 4 again and play football again. And I think that has been, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong on this. This is what I think. It's just that's been more of a factor than the managerial side and the tactical side and that sort of thing. Maybe I'm wrong on that. And I do think that Carrick has implemented some good things within the side. I just feel like after this bounce, there will inevitably be a correction back to what the new Man United is under Carrick, in terms of reality. And I'm not as bullish. I just want to see them against a Fulham first before I'm so like, oh yeah, they're now great again all of a sudden. It's been a week and a half and they've had 2 amazing results. But I'm very keen on Mbumo. I think I'm going to be getting him in this week. And the injury to, who was it? Was it Ahmad who got injured? I completely had a mind blank. Dorgu's hamstring. Yeah, that injury definitely makes Mbumo more reliable, I think, in terms of his minutes. So I'm very keen on him. But yeah, outside of Bruno, I don't think I'd go for a defender yet either. I think they kept 2 clean sheets all season. I quite like Maguire, but I'm not sure I'll be getting a United defender for the clean sheets. But yeah, exciting times, and the fixtures are really good.
Let's talk FPL. Andy will have him in and be talking about the bullet header.
Yeah.
The double game week, wouldn't he? What about yourself, Nick?
Much the same as Jack. I mean, it's one thing to be counter-attacking, another when you're expected to win against Fulham. So Fulham are pretty decent. I'd be very surprised if they scored 5 goals. I'm thinking more 1 each. But
No
We
chances,
shall
Trick.
see. But I'm
We'll
quite
see.
happy with just Fernandez at the moment, who I do think is the
Yeah.
best player in the game. I've been saying that all season. And not sure I want to double on them just yet, but it is an option. It is an option. And Cunha, I mean, I should never have sold Cunha. I think it was like about 6 weeks ago when went Cunha to Foden. And Solio had Cunha predicted to score more points than Foden in the following 6 matches. And everyone like piled in saying how they've lost the plot and how it was ridiculous and how Foden was going to score about 50 more points than Cunha. Well, since then, Foden's blanked every single match and Cunha has actually done all right, hasn't he? So Solio was right on that one. And we all got carried away with Foden, who just, don't know what happened to him. But Cunha's an option. But everything seemed to go in for United this week, didn't it? I mean, Arsenal could have easily won that game. I mean, I know United.
Yeah, there were 2
did win
worldies
it,
as
but-
well. We've got to remember that.
Yeah,
But
exactly. And
Arsenal
they're not
scored
going to
off a-
happen every week.
But
And
Arsenal scored off a-
Zubimendi passed it to
Yeah,
Abramo.
they gave them a goal.
Yeah.
Gifted.
But if you look at Arsenal's goals, they relied on Jurriën Timber pushing over Lissandro Martinez, so he got the own goal, which probably should have been a foul. Then they had Le Mans coming and flapping at the ball, and that's the only way Arsenal scored. They didn't create anything else other than 2 really shitty goal-mouth scrambles that they really had no input on at all. And I think the thing you guys are overlooking is Chelsea have unbelievable fixture congestion. Arsenal have unbelievable fixture congestion. Man City, unbelievable fixture congestion. Aston Villa, unbelievable fixture congestion. Man United have 1 game a week. There's no
Yeah.
FA Cup. There's no Carabao Cup. They can literally play and target the teams they're playing, and they're going to smoke them. Like, because I think, and people say, oh, you got to watch about Fulham, whatever. I'll read off an interesting stat for you. When Ole Gunnar Solskjaer took over Jose Mourinho, he went on a 10-game winning streak, 10 games in a row. If Michael Carrick goes anywhere near 10 games in a row, Man United will win the league because all those teams above them are going to be dropping points because they're going to be rotating players. They're going to get injuries. Man United are going to play 1 game a week. That's it. And there's no reason to believe that they can't smoke teams when they don't have to play once every 7 days.
Ollie inherited a much better team, though. Than
But-
the
No,
current
it's a
lot.
good team, this one, I think. It's just been mismanaged for the last year.
Yeah.
I mean, look at
Like
the
the
players. You've got
attacking players
Cunha,
have been
Bumo,
unbelievable.
Fernandez. There's some good players in this.
I think that
team,
front 6 is good. I agree.
Ahmad's very
It's the
good
back
as
line.
well, isn't he?
Like, you
Yeah, I'm
move
not
on.
sure about
Craig,
the
what?
defense.
Sorry, Jack. Man City. I mean, I'm not really sure what I want to talk about with Man City. I mean, the 2 names that spring to mind. I think everyone's getting rid of Foden and right to have them, but Semenyo and Haaland. Are you staying faithful to Haaland, Trig? And Semenyo is in a lot of teams, but avoid, buy, keep.
The only reason I have Haaland is because there's nobody to replace him with. If Salah was good, I'd do it in a heartbeat. I think Haaland's no longer a great asset. We can no longer even trust his minutes now. And the fact Arsenal lost so helps, I think, because he's going to have a renewed focus on the league, old Pep, seeing Arsenal falter a little bit. But yeah, there's really nowhere to go with Haaland yet. And it's kind of, if you're playing a safe game, it's too early to jump out and get rid of him. If I was ranked in the millions, I'd definitely get rid of him straight away.
Yeah, Darius.
But I think there's another player you should talk about, and that's
I was
Gahey.
reading the chat.
No, he
I
said for
think
people in the
Gahey's
millions.
a very interesting option.
For when Man City concede all their goals every week, yeah, I'd pass on that one.
Well, he might
about
concede
yourself,
less
Jack?
now. He's in the defence.
Nah, maybe from 26. I don't know. Just City defensively, I still just don't trust them. And I also think they do have a lot of injuries. I know Gay's come in, but they still have a lot of injuries around him. I don't trust them defensively. I would love to sell Haaland, by the way. It's quite boring that we can't really sell him because there's no where do you spend the money? Like if Salah was himself, if Palmer was available as an option, that would be a conversation that was actually worthwhile. But the problem is, I don't know where I would go. Like I downgrade him to Watkins, and then what? I don't even necessarily know what I'd do with the money. So yeah, I'm just gonna have to keep him until something actually happens to him. Yeah.
Am I right in saying I don't know if either of you three remember this, that the guy who won FPL last year, or maybe it was the year before that, sold Salah when he was in really good form and sort of completely went against the grain, and that was part of the reason he won it. I think it was last year because that's when Salah really went off form, wasn't it? But it just shows that what making that sort of move can do. You know what I mean? If it goes right.
Yeah, I just feel like I just don't know where else I'd go though. That's the problem. Like if there was an option, then I'd say definitely go against it. But I just don't even think it's like I just don't even think it's worth it.
No, I mean we're not even happy with Saka, are we? So,
exactly.
Palmer as well. Salah's. I mean, the first game Salah's back, Liverpool lose. So the defense is so bad. Can they afford to play Salah with his lack of defensive sort of attributes? So you can't really go to Salah yet. I think it's just a weird punt, isn't it? I mean, they've got Newcastle and City next.
Yeah,
so you're not going there.
It's a good point actually. Because they hadn't lost. They had that long unbeaten run that no one really seemed to like realize because they were drawing a lot of games. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah, as soon as Salah comes back, they lose. Virgil makes 2 defensive mistakes. And
have you seen the form table? Like the form table, the team with the best form at the moment is actually Man United. No one else has got more than 2 wins in the last 5, except Newcastle. But Newcastle's games are all against Wolves, West Ham, and I think it might have been Leeds. All their 3 wins were against the bottom 3 or whatever. The only team with good form, realistically, is actually Man United. No one else has won more than 2 games in the last 5. If you look at Arsenal, they've only won 1. And City, I think, have only won 2. Like it's insane. The form table this season is just and like you raised a really good point, Jack, about Haaland. Who the hell are you going to sell him to as a forward that's going to actually return? Because the forwards this year have been woeful across the board, really.
Chelsea have won the last 2 matches, haven't they?
Yeah,
they might not won the ones before that.
Oh, we're not good before that.
They went like 9 games without a win, didn't they? Before they sacked Maresca. Everyone's going, why have they sacked Maresca?
Don't remember. I don't know what you think about this, but there are a lot of people saying before December, and we know as Chelsea fans that the last few seasons, our Decembers have been awful. They're saying, "Oh, Chelsea have turned a corner. They're going to be great. Like they look fantastic." And then my flatmate is a Chelsea fan as well, and we were just saying, there's a dark time coming. We do not do well in December. And then all of a sudden, after that Barcelona win, I think it was like the Leeds game or something, just Leeds away, just horrible. Just knew we weren't going to get anything. And then, poor from then.
It was terrible. You'd think with a big squad that they'd be well equipped for December as well. It's very strange. But they're still not playing that brilliantly. I'm not convinced by Chelsea still, to be honest.
What about Chelsea assets, Trig? They've got this incredible West Ham, Wolves, Leeds, Burnley. I mean, I've got Enzo. I mean, you and Jack's opinion, I guess, is both being Chelsea fans. Who would you be looking at, even if you'd be looking at Enzo or beyond?
I mean, Enzo is a safe pick, just in terms of expected ownership and everything else. And if he does go off and you don't have him, it is going to hurt you, isn't it? But his worth really depends on Palmer, doesn't it? And I think Palmer will miss at least 2 of his matches, which makes Enzo a decent asset. I mean, Solio was still projecting in that like Palmer plays minutes in all the games, but he might not. He might just not even be on the bench for some of these matches. He's bound to play Napoli tonight. Then they've got West Ham, and I think they've got Arsenal in Carabao Cup. So if he plays tonight, he's probably not going to play against West Ham at the weekend, which makes Enzo the best asset in the midfield. As for Esteval, again, is difficult, I think. I mean, if he played the same minutes as Enzo, I'd much rather have Esteval, but I'm probably not going to, is he? But we shall see. His minutes are going up quite rapidly now Rossini's coming. Neto, don't know really. And difficult. João Pedro's an interesting one, isn't he?
Yeah.
If you've got Ekatike, I think he's worth it. He doesn't fit my structure. if you're looking to get rid of Ekatike, why not take a 4-week punt on João Pedro? Although Delap does still exist, so there's a problem there as well.
Yeah. Anything to add, Jack, on Chelsea?
I think defensively, I think I like Sanchez and Chalobah a lot. I actually don't think I would go outside of. This is maybe me being a bit of a boring manager. I think Sanchez, Chalobah, and Enzo are the three that you can go to. I think they're all really good, solid, safe picks. And I think, yeah, I've been looking at Thiago to João Pedro, and I do not think that's worth it. I think only if you had an Ekatike to come down, would you do that? And I actually quite like maybe that for these next 3 or 4 before then going back to Thiago. I think Thiago is just is a better pick long term. But again, if you get João Pedro, he's not going to start all 4 of these games. It's impossible. So you are playing with limited minutes. You just hope that the fixtures are there to get more points.
I suspect Delap. If Delap doesn't start tonight, then he's going to start West Ham, I'd say.
I think that's a good game for Delap. Yeah.
And João Pedro will get the Arsenal match.
Players kindly provide us with a starting lineup for Man City and Arsenal. So Man City is Donnarumma, Núñez, Kushyanov, Ake, Aït-Nouri, Bernardo Silva, O'Reilly, Marmoush, Cherki, Doku, and Haaland. So no Foden. And Arsenal is Kappa, basically. White, Mascara, Calafiori, Lewis Skelly, Norgard, Eze, Havertz, Madueke, Martinelli, and Gyökeres. So a lot. Gabriel rested there. Timber.
That's like close to their B team now, and it's that strong. That's not too far.
There's a few surprises. There's a few surprises in the Chelsea lineup.
I'm trying to find the Chelsea lineup. I can't.
Chalobah's not playing. It's on Reddit. If you go to Reddit, Chelsea forum, Chalobah's not starting. He's the only one. Sanchez, Gusto, James, Fofana, Cucurella, Caicedo, Santos, Esteval, Enzo, Neto, and João Pedro. So I'd say Delap. Is Delap? Oh, he is on the bench. So I'd say Delap is going to get West Ham. So that would put me off João Pedro, unless he only plays like 50 or 60 minutes or whatever. But strong-looking team, I guess. So who's centre back then? It must be. Is it James? James must be playing.
That is, yeah, it is.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the experienced defense, isn't it? I mean, we don't know. Maybe he doesn't fancy Chalobah. You think that'd nail Chalobah on for West Ham at least?
He could be sick. Is he not on the bench?
He's on the bench.
No, he's on the bench.
It's strange that he's not playing. That is strange.
That's bizarre.
I think they're going for experience.
Got Newcastle where Pope, Miley, or Millie, however you say it, Cal, Botman, Byrne, Hall, Tonali, Ramsey, Elanga, Baltamade, Willock. So, and Gamer is on the bench, as is Visser and Gordon. So, yeah.
Can I ask you a question, Jack?
Yeah.
Would you be happy with double Chelsea defense? Because I've already got Sanchez, and I'm wondering whether I want Chalobah when I've already got Sanchez. Because they haven't been great, have they, defensively?
No, but
try and find a way to concede.
I think I would, Yeah, I think I would. Because I like Sanchez long term anyway, and then I think you just get Chalobah. It's so team dependent. I have to look at your team properly. But I think Chalobah, he's so good for DEFCONs, and I think the fixtures warrant the price. I think 5.6 is all right. I can't believe he's not playing, to be honest with you.
Well, Fofana is good though, isn't he? And James is like,
but James centre back. When's the last time he played centre back? I don't think he's ever played centre back in a back 4 that I can think of.
I thought when Fofana came on at the weekend, the Chelsea's defence looked horrible once Fofana came on against Palace. I mean, they literally almost conceded twice to 10-men Palace after Fofana came on. In fact, that's when they did concede, was when Fofana came into the game. I thought he was poor.
Yeah, I don't love Fofana. I think he's had his injuries, but I think he's not been as good as we expected him to be. I would like him to
Dominates
like get.
them
He's
into stuff.
cheap. I was thinking there might be a Chelsea defender that that Rossini would immediately be like, okay, yeah, I like you.
Mm.
Different to the previous manager that we could then get for a cheap price. But I don't think that's going to happen.
4.4 million, I think, for Fana, isn't he? But the thing is, he plays tonight. He's definitely not playing West Ham because he's so injury prone.
Yeah.
So you can pencil Chalobah in for West Ham at least.
Yeah.
Can we move on, lads, to the last team we've got noted down here? Darius, I'll bring you in on this one, mate. Aston Villa assets. Obviously, got Douglas Luiz. I think, did he join today, Villa? And then possibly an option. And then does the signing of the striker Tammy Abraham, does that rule out Watkins for you, Darius? And what about Rodgers?
Yeah, I've only got any interest in Rodgers. If I buy a Villa asset, it's him. Watkins isn't in the three best forwards in the game. I've already got three. I said anyone that's got Bowen, Thiago, Haaland is not making a forward transfer. I don't care if it's João Pedro, don't care if it's bloody Ekitike, whoever it is, or Watkins. They've not scored better than them. And arguably, their minutes are nowhere near as secure as Thiago and Bowen's as well. So why on earth would you move off either of those assets? I think that, and I said, like, I'm very, very hot on like the forwards this year. And I've been burnt a few times. Obviously, I had Mateta, then went Thiago to Ekitike, back to Thiago. There's no benefit in making a forward transfer. Whatever forwards you've got, just play them in the good fixtures, bench them in the others, because the points are just, statistically, they're not there this year. So I think that Bowen and Thiago offer really good routes to points when they have nice fixtures. So you play them then, and then you just bench them in the other weeks.
Oh, hang on a second. I forgot Palmer. He's not starting.
Yeah, he's on the bench.
Wow. Shit,
That's
that's interesting, isn't it?
Well, he just can't be fit enough to start.
Wants to come to Manchester United, I believe, so maybe that's why he's on the bench.
What's that?
He's seen the title number 21's coming. He wants a part of it. He wants to move.
Lads, can we move on to the wildcard draft? Before I ask you that, the reason Kieran of FPL Discomfort is saying why have I got too late to wildcard? The reason I've got that in is it too late to wildcard? If you were going to do it this week, is it too late to hit the button now with all the price changes, etc.? Jack, I'll ask you, mate, what do you reckon?
No, definitely not. No, you would have lost $1 million max. That's fine. I've not this is the first season I think where I actually haven't really paid too much attention to price changes, and I'm quite enjoying playing that way. And I think the information that I've gained from waiting, and also just from trying to work out other options as well, when other options come to you, not the amount of times that you'll have an idea on a Sunday night, and then by Friday you'd be like, no, that wasn't the right plan. I've got a better plan for my team longer term or whatever. That happens to me quite often. So I've definitely played the game slightly differently this year and not jumped on players that are going up in price early in the week. I know you do that, Nick, and I have done that before. And you do build a lot of team value, so you can get to better players later in the season. But I think this year, especially with the lack of options, I don't think that's that relevant. So if your team warrants a wildcard this week, I 100% would wildcard. And I don't think the fact that you have lost a small amount of money is a reason not to wildcard. Just wildcard and get the points.
I'm like you, Jack. I have always used team, but this is the first season where I haven't.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I'm like you. I'm enjoying the analysis that I get from waiting.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there have been quite a few times where my first thought was the best. For example, I never had Semenyo earlier in the season. There was a Sunday where I could have gone, right, Gabriel and Semenyo in for a hit. And I talked myself out of it, analysed, ended up getting Saka instead after like 5 days deliberation. When often my first instinct, I'm finding, is often the best one. So I'm kind of torn, but I don't miss the team value. I don't feel like I haven't got enough money at the moment. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think the thing is though, if you, that's what you're describing there, I don't think is a team value thing, unless those moves were you had to do it for the price changes, then it is. But you can still have that first thought in mind when you come to make your transfer later in the week and still go with what was your initial gut instinct. Unless you are going to get priced out, then yeah, it is different.
But often you're talked out of it. I mean, I watch a lot of content and you can subconsciously start having your mind changed.
Yeah.
Rather than going with your gut feel at the beginning of a week. So I think there's benefits from both sides. I think people are a bit too scathing on early transfers sometimes, but I am quite enjoying taking my time, and it gives you more to do during the week, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's true as well.
You've got nothing to do. But on the other hand, it's quite nice doing that sometimes, isn't it? Where you make your transfer on the Sunday and just forget about FPL for the week. So
all you've got to do is worry about who's going to get injured tonight. So we've got 3 wildcard drafts. We've got one from a human being, FPL Cayman, who you can follow on FPL Cayman. And then we've got 2 machine ones. We've got a solo one that Trig has put together and a review one that I've put together. So once we've gone through them, I'll do a poll and see which one the chat prefers. So this is Cayman's one. He did give me permission to use it. I've actually started asking for permission to use these things now. We've got Sanchez, Timber, Gabriel, Mukalele, Munoz and Anderson. That's the defense. Bruno Fernandes, Rice, Enzo, Rogers, and Burma in midfield. Haaland, Croupier Jr. and Bowen up front. Darius, what do you reckon to this one, mate? You generally don't like any of these, do you? When we do this,
to be honest with you, I just sit there and I can't get excited over Enzo. I just think that I'd rather have Harry Bloody Wilson than Enzo on a wildcard draft. Like legit, I think the fixtures are comparable. The dude's running at an absurd level of quality at the moment, and he's literally returning almost in every single game. I think it's weird because I can see he's got Anderson there. Why has he got Anderson? He hasn't got Wilson. Like Wilson's a better pick than Anderson for me by a substantial distance. And again, it comes down. I don't mind the double United attacker like Rice. I just don't like the Enzo pick. I don't mind Rogers. I reckon I'd have Wilson instead of Enzo. And unfortunately, his team value is pretty low because he's got Croupier Jr. in it. And I don't think Croupier Jr. with the signings that Bournemouth have made the last week is a good pick at all. I would not be going anywhere near Croupier Jr. In any of my teams. But again, this is where it comes down. And you guys have been discussing team value. Instead of Croupier Jr., I've got Thiago because I've got Thiago, Bowen, and Haaland. And that's the difference between. And this year, and a bit like last year, I only got burnt once in the last 2 years moving early. And I'm a strong advert for if you want a player, go and buy him. And especially if that team's not in Europe, there is no reason to wait around for Bruno Fernandes, no reason to wait around for Brian and Bumo because they're not in Europe. They're playing 1 game a week. You can make your move early in the week because they're not going to, unless they get really unlucky and get a training ground injury, which is a freak accident more than anything else, then you move. There's no need to wait around. What are you waiting for? If you want to buy one of those players that's not in Europe, there is zero reason, zero incentive to wait around unless they got injured, like Dorgo obviously did on the weekend. That's the only reason you'd bother waiting. Otherwise, you're just losing money for essentially waiting for no good reason. I understand the European teams. That makes a lot more sense, I suppose, waiting for them to play. But realistically, injuries don't happen that often. So I just think that, it's a little bit overrated. It's very much a cartel peddling tactic rather than an intelligent man picking tactic.
The only thing I'd say on that is that, say Haaland got injured, for example, or another one of your players that plays in Europe got injured, then that I think could potentially affect your entire transfer moves, and you may not end up selling the player that you were going to sell from Burma. You might have more money or be able to sell someone that's cheaper to get up to in Burma, stuff like that. But I do agree with you. It is quite rare that injuries happen that affect your team in a midweek overall. I'm just quite cautious with it, I think. But it is nice when you have more team value than other people and you can get to those players that they just can't get to. And I think it is obviously a massive advantage.
I've got a saying, Jack. Team value is vanity, points are sanity. And
I like that a lot.
I was thinking this. You've got about 3 million more team value than me, right? When that's basically going to kick in is when we wildcard in game week. Let's say we both wildcard in 32. Okay, you might have, let's say, it's making these names up, Fernandez, and I might have Burmo or Cunha. Like over a period of 6 game weeks, my cheaper player could easily outscore the more expensive player. I think that the value of team value is overridden quite a bit.
I think in the forward line, it's not. I think in the forward line when you've got Creepy Jr. or Mark Gui and I've got Jared Bowen instead, I reckon the value's going to be 100% coming in. I think that's the big difference. Like I look at Gary's team compared to mine. The difference is Jared Bowen versus Mark Gui. Like you know that Jared Bowen's going to smoke Mark Gui by about 70 points between now and the end of the season. Like it's just a fact.
Trig, have you got any thoughts on this wildcard before we go and look at the Solio one, mate, and Jack?
I like the team. I just don't like him benching Bowen instead of Creepy Jr. because
exactly.
Bournemouth aren't that great away from home. Wolves are still pretty good. I know they lost to City and they weren't fantastic, but they have been in good form recently. And Wolves will be targeting that match for a win. And Chelsea are playing in Napoli today. West Ham probably will score, and it's likely to be Bowen involved. So I'd definitely start Bowen over Creepy Jr. I'm not sure about Munoz either because I'm a bit low on Palace at the moment. They seem to be selling everybody, so I'm not sure I would get him.
Should we have a look at the one that Trig put together from us from Solio? So, how do I say the Man United keeper's name? Lamans? Lamans,
in
goal. Yeah, with Jose Sa on the bench. Gabriel, Senesi, Chalobah, Richards, Joachim Anderson, defence. And Burmo, Enzo, Fernandez, Saka, Rice midfield, Haaland, Croupier Jr. and Tulu up front. What do you reckon of this one, Jack?
I like the one before as well. I don't know about not having Arsenal double defence.
Yeah.
Still, I know they've conceded recently a lot. I think like I would definitely have Raya and Gabriel on a wild card. I just would. Apart from that, I think it's good. Yeah, I'd have Raya. I think if this 26 double happens, then I want the 3 Arsenal players that I know are going to play both games. And I think I like double Arsenal defense, and I don't think Timber will play necessarily both games. He might, but Raya definitely will. So I probably would. I'm quite safe. I think that's what I would do. Outside of that, so you're starting Croupier in this one, but you've got money spread elsewhere. I see. I like Bruno and Burma. I like Enzo. Yeah, again, Saka. Would you necessarily have him on wildcard if there were other? I'd love that position to be Palmer.
Yeah, I'd have Rice and 2 defence, same as you.
You can't have Palmer though, can you?
Exactly.
Let's be honest.
I don't know. Like, I think I probably would still have Saka on a wild card because the money. Like
you said, I don't think Saka's going to play both games in that double game week.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I've got Saka myself. These are the Arsenal players that I have as well, and I'm not going to change it because it's not worth changing.
No.
But I agree with you in terms of the double game week that Raya's the best. But actually, the Wolves keeper might have been better, and have another keeper and just play the Wolves keeper.
I see what you've done. I see.
Oh yeah, the Wolves keeper is on the bench. The Wolves keeper's on the bench for the double game week. So there's 4 double game week players. So because Raya, outside of a double game week, he's an expensive liability, isn't he? I mean, he's no good. He doesn't get any save points, any bonus. We very rarely have to save a penalty. And he's one, he hasn't been doing very well. There's quite a few keepers have been outscoring Raya.
Yeah.
So I quite like the idea, but I think Jose Sa, isn't he involved in transfer speculation with Forest at the moment?
Yeah.
I think Forest are trying to buy him. So that would scupper this team. So, yeah.
Should we move on to reviews? So I ran this last unusual things. It's based on my team value. Raya and Darlow in goal, Gabriel Timber, Cash Anderson, Alderete in defence, Lafay, Enzo, Fernandez, and Burmo, Elliot Anderson in midfield, Thiago, Watkins, and Haaland up front. Darius, we all know you're a massive advocate of FPL review. You're a follower I know. What do you reckon to this one? What do you reckon to this one, mate?
I'm not against triple Arsenal defence, to be honest. I think that might actually be the better play, because that midfield spot might be crucial for other players. But with the players they've got in midfield, it's dumb. Let's be fair. Anderson, Lafay, Enzo, turn it up review. Watkins, minute risk. And then it's got Anderson in defence. I mean, Gary, I'm not saying anything more on this. It's a shit draft.
It sacrificed too much in midfield to fit Watkins in, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Watkins isn't good
problem
enough
with
to warrant that midfield.
So I've just done a quick poll. Which
would have been better to
FPL
keep Watkins in and take Haaland out, maybe, and then increase the midfield. And then Watkins looks good because he's not straining the budget.
Haven't they signed Abrahams?
Yeah, they have.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah, do you reckon that's going to eat into his minutes a fair bit, isn't it? I mean, he wasn't even starting in all the games before that.
No, they've got midweek games, and yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, I've asked the chat which one do they prefer, Cayman, Solios, or it's silly to wildcard now. Usually I put they're all rubbish, but I thought I'd be a little bit politer this week. So let us know. So I'll just quickly show again. So that's Cayman's draft, that's Solios, and that's reviews. So let's move on to Darius's favourite section of the show. Rob T's projected goals and points. So quickly run through it. Arsenal obviously favourite in the first match of the game week away to Leeds. Wolves and Bournemouth. Bournemouth slight favourites there. Brighton, Everton. Brighton favourites there. Chelsea, West Ham. Chelsea obviously clear favourites there. Also the highest predicted goals of the week. Arsenal have the highest clean sheet odds. Liverpool, fairly clear favourites to win against Newcastle. Villa, Brentford, somewhat tight, but Villa favourites there. Nottingham Forest favourites over Crystal Palace. Man United, pretty clear favourites over Fulham. Spurs, Man City. City obviously favourites there. And Sunderland versus Burnley. Look at that, very high clean sheet odds for Sunderland, 43%. They've actually got the highest clean sheet odds. That's quite interesting. So yeah, usually here, Jack, we just go over who you're thinking about captaining and if there's anything in particular that is of interest to you here. Yeah, what do you reckon, man?
I'm happy seeing those clean sheet odds as someone who has double Sunderland defence.
Oh, you do, don't you? Yeah.
But they've been, I don't know, I watched the West Ham game, like properly watched it from a sort of Sunderland perspective. And they did not look very good defensively. I'm not 100% sure what has happened there. Maybe it's just a natural thing because they were performing at such a high level, but they've got their players back from AFCON now. But they had them back for the West Ham game. So I'm hoping maybe they just got a bed in a little bit after a tournament and they'll get back to their best. Xhaka also didn't play that one, which I think obviously didn't help. But I like that from a Sunderland defensive perspective. I think, well, I'm going to captain Bruno Fernandes, and I think that these numbers sort of just confirm that. City at 1.98 seems fair to me. They've just been poor recently. I know like Spurs is the sort of game where a club just turns their form around because they're a bit of a walkover. It happened to West Ham. But I'm not confident in captaining Haaland when you've got Bruno right there, who's got a good fixture at home to Fulham. And his route to points is a joke, especially playing higher up the pitch. Also, the fact that even when he's playing 10, his defcons are still very good. It doesn't necessarily matter that he's playing high up the pitch. He's still great for recoveries. So, yeah, I'll be going Bruno. No doubt about that.
Be interesting to see what the polls say on that, wouldn't it, Trig? Because me and you follow the polls quite a bit. I don't know if there's been any early ones yet. But who do you reckon is going to come out on top, Fernandes or Haaland? And who do you reckon you'll be captaining?
I think it'll be Fernandes. I'll be captaining Fernandes, I think. I mean, like Jack said, he's got more route to points, and we're a bit sick of 2-point Haaland. Tottenham traditionally do well against Man City, don't they? But whether they can still do now is a different story. And Haaland does do well when he's got space, doesn't he? And he probably will get space in this match. But we don't even know how many minutes he's going to play. Bruno, we know he's there for the whole match. So you'd think, clean sheet point, DEFCON chances, assist chances. Oh, I've got to go.
If he gets an assist, it's just 9 points, like 10 points. I think it's too much to go against him with this fixture.
Yeah, and especially now Man City have got Semenyo, because it's I think that's going to lower Haaland's goal share a little bit in Man City. So, yeah, I mean, the thing is, if we're going to captain Fernandes probably nearly every week, then it does make Haaland a bit surplus to requirements, to be quite honest.
Every week?
So the only thing's a double game week. You're going to want Haaland probably in a double game week. And, well, a lot of weeks I think you could captain Fernandes most weeks, couldn't you?
You can make an argument, yeah.
And the easy games for Man City.
You're going to captain Fernandes?
Well, the easy games for Man City are the ones where Marmoush is going to play, aren't they, probably? So we've got that doubt in our heads now.
That's true.
Man City at home to Burnley, you're suddenly thinking, is Haaland actually going to play? I mean, you're going to have to captain him still if you've got him, which is why I think getting rid of him is not such a bad idea, because it removes that option, that fear option, where you kind of default to him as captain. Forces you to think for different ideas. But I think Chelsea shouldn't be at the top in terms of goals for this week. I think that match against Napoli is going to blunt them. Any chance he can get, he's going to start making subs. If they get 2-0 up, he's going to settle with Senior. Because they've got that big Arsenal game afterwards. So I think 2 goals is about right for Chelsea. Certainly, I'd be surprised if they got more than that. Whereas City could easily get more than 2, or Liverpool, or Arsenal for that matter. Although Leeds aren't bad at home, are they?
Darius, my friend, the obvious captain this week is Fernandes. So I'm assuming you'll be captaining Tarkowski.
There's no need to overthink this one, Gary. I mean, the most obvious captain this week is Bruno Fernandes. And if you didn't captain him, then you're either a sheep and you're sticking on the Haaland bandwagon, or I don't know. There is no other captaincy option this week. It has to be Bruno Fernandes. I mean, they've got Fulham, and to be honest, I think that they've been quite generous to Fulham here. I've got the score being about 5-1, so they're about 3 goals off this week. Maybe they'll increase the longer the week goes on. Obviously, it's based off betting markets. There'll be a lot of deluded United fans that get a bit excited towards the end of the week, and probably that number will be closer to 3 goals by the time the deadline rolls around.
We're not going to do it on the podcast, but I think on your own channel you should start doing D-Unit versus Rob T and see over the course of an extended period who's closer in terms of the results.
Well, I called 2 correct last week. Rob T didn't correct 3 goals to 1. I called West Ham correctly. Rob T didn't have West Ham at 3 goals, but I did. And then Fulham versus Brighton, I had that game at 2 goals to 1, and it finished 2-1. So yeah, maybe Rob T needs to start looking at my odds, and he might improve his own game.
I called it a long time ago, but the D-Unit called it, and that's all you need to know.
We have sound effects, Jack, here.
Very good.
especially when we want to quieten him down. I also stole off Fantasy Football Hub. We have from the Green Arrow, the little violin.
Yeah.
So I play that sometimes when Darius is moaning about how terrible his game week went last time. Okay, can we move on to the differentials? So if you've not watched before, this is a section where myself, Trig, Darius, and the 3 other lads that come on regularly, podcast hosts, who's an under 5% owned player every week. I am, let's be honest, lads, I'm smashing you on this one. My pick, Romero, came in with 11 points, which puts me clear on top of the table. Looks like Darius is in second. He did well this week. Mamouche with 10 points. Nightmare is third overall, although Croupier Jr. only got a point for him this week. And then Roberto and Kanji are equal second bottom in Diet and Welbeck doing nothing. And Trig, you're not doing very well in this one, mate. You're bottom of the league there with Sade with 2 points. You should have picked him earlier on when I had him.
I always pick players I don't want to get points. That's how I picked Szoboszlai last week when he got his 13 points. Or the week before, wasn't it? I picked him when he missed his penalty.
Yeah. So let's move on to our Game Week 24 picks. So Trig's gone for Gibbs White. Nightmare has gone to Jack. Do you want to say this name you said earlier? You like saying it?
Brian Brobby.
Brian Brobby.
Yeah.
Roberta's gone for Evan Nelson. I've gone for Lefay. Candy's gone for Esteval, not you, Trig. And
I forgot
Darius has
about him.
gone That's not quite a
He
word
won't
to
play.
say.
He won't play.
He's
It'll be
gonna play.
Garnacho. It'll be Garnacho this week.
Well, and Darius has gone for Ahmed. Darius, do you want to talk us through your pick, mate?
Yeah, I had to pick a Man United player this week, man. We're scoring 5 goals. So Ahmad's got to be involved. And if we score 5, Ahmad's involved in at least 1, maybe 2 of them, maybe 3 of them. Maybe he scores a hat-trick like he did against Southampton last season. I just think it's a no-brainer. I was toying up between Harry Maguire and Ahmad. And I thought, Ahmad's probably got more chances over the course of the game of getting multiple returns. Harry Maguire, he could easily get a 15-pointer in this game. I'm surprised that no one else raffled him up because, you know, with Bruno Fernandes on those corners, it's inevitable that Harry Maguire is going to head one of them in. And against Fulham, it could happen. Sorry, Colm, but it had to be a United player this week. They're in banging form.
His XG is pretty good, actually, isn't it? An XA.
Yeah. It is.
I didn't realize it was that high. Greg, Gibbs White, mate, you're going for. You don't want to score points.
I don't know why, really. I think he's on penalties. Palace aren't very good at the moment. I'm very low on Palace. Forest seem to have hit a bit of form, don't they? Beat Brentford, didn't they, last week, 2-0? And that was a bit of a surprise. Was it Forest they played? I can't remember.
I heard
Gibbs White's pretty decent.
I heard Let's Talk FPL Andy earlier on. I watched his preview earlier on. He reckons Gibbs White might not be off penalties, and it might be Elliot Anderson or striker. What's his name? Igor or Jesus on them instead.
Elliot Anderson would be nice, wouldn't it? If he was,
it would be very nice. It'd be very nice.
Could be at the end of a game because, like, if Gibbs White is potentially off penalties, and then Igor Jesus is on them, and then he comes off, then it could be Anderson. Like last 20 minutes of a game, genuinely. I mean, he scored his penalty, and then Gibbs White has missed 2 of his last 3. So, yeah.
Oh. Have they signed another striker? They signed somebody, didn't they? Or have they not?
I think they were... Who is it who's in talks to sign Mateta? Is it Forest?
Oh, that's right. It is Forest.
Yeah. I mean, they have a lot of strikers already.
And he'd be on penalties, wouldn't he, if he went to Forest?
Probably, yeah.
So
I guess Chris Wood's done, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. My choice is Lefay. I have a very simple mechanism for doing this now the last 4 game weeks. I can see who Burnley's playing, see who the best looking fight under 5%. I did it with Romero last week. It's Lefay this week. And you know, he's a decent player. And as we saw, everyone butchered me because we're in that me and FPL Nightmare are doing that double captaincy picks that Greyhead does. Is it Greyhead? Jack. And I picked Romero. Everyone took the piss out of me and he comes in with 11 points. So Lefay's going to do it for me. Jack, do you want to give us your opinion on our 3 absent Pubcast hosts picks? So Nightmares, Broby, Kanji's Esteval, and Roberto's Evan Nilsson.
Yeah, I don't like Esteval because I don't think he's going to start. Simple as that. I think if he was going to start, he'd be up there. His minutes are getting managed. A lot of Chelsea fans are saying we've got to play Esteval more, which I completely understand. But I don't know what's going on in terms of who is 100% making decisions over team sheets at Chelsea. But one thing is for sure, the powers that be are very insistent on protecting their assets. And I think part of that is making sure that Esteval doesn't get a long-term injury and he is still like a boy, pretty much. I mean, he's still young, and they are definitely protecting him in terms of his minutes. So I think this is going to continue for a while. I like the fact that he's starting this game though against Napoli. That's great. But yeah, I don't think he's going to start against West Ham. So I'm not sure about him as a pick. Brobby I like a lot because I think he's a good player. Like he is an absolute beast. He is incredibly strong. I think he bullied, was it Van Heck a few game weeks ago? It was filthy. It was disgusting. It was like a man against a boy. It was brutal to watch. And I think he's like a sort of a less good version of Thiago. I like him a lot as a player, and that fixture is great. Obviously, Burnley at home. Then Evan Nilsson as well. He's definitely an option. I think he's an actual FPL option as well. Not 100% sure on him as a finisher, as a forward right now. I mean, he was good last season. I think he's sort of tailed off a bit. Wolves away is a good fixture though. I think I would rank these three. Esteval third because I don't think he's going to play, and then Brobby top, Evan Nilsson second.
Yeah, me and Trig both had Evan. Did you have my sort of Trig? He was pretty frustrating, wasn't he? I know I had him up until a wild carded. Yeah. Okay, can we move on to our teams? So, Jack, I'll put you first as our guest. So, Jack is in a great position here. He's got 3 free transfers and 2.6 million in the bank. He's currently going with Roos away to, at home to Burnley, Mukalele at home to Burnley, so the double Sunderland defence and double Arsenal defence of Timber and Gabriel. Fernandes currently captain at home to Fulham. Saka vice away to Leeds. Enzo at home to West Ham. Szoboszlai at home to Newcastle. Elliot Anderson at home to Crystal Palace. And then Thiago away to Villa and Haaland away to Aston Villa with Hall, Keane as the playing players on the bench. Yeah, talk to it, mate, on your plan moves if you've got any.
Yeah, I think I like my team this week. I think I'm going to do Szoboszlai to Mbeumo because I've got the money to do that. I don't have to do that. I could roll, but I think that's just a bit too passive. And I haven't been a fan of Szoboszlai, and I think that Mbeumo is a good pick, especially with this Dorgu injury. So I think I'm going to do that, and I've got the money for that. And my vice is actually Haaland. It's not Saka. But yeah, apart from that, I think the team's good. I've had Keane, who has been sitting there for a while since his red card. I don't think he's going to get back into the team, but he's not a priority transfer out for me. And he isn't even next week because Hull has his last good game next week, Brentford at home. Then after that, I'll probably have to deal with Keane. But the team's in a good spot. And again, like Thiago has these 3 tougher fixtures, but I think I'm just going to play him. I might bench him in the Arsenal game, but the lack of options, maybe I'm not going to sell him for Bowen. I'm not going to sell him for Joao Pedro. Just going to play him. I got him at 6.2 as well, which is a big factor. And yeah, I'm happy with the team.
Are you planning to follow the sort of, I don't know, it's not a community chip strategy yet, but the one that's widely being talked about? Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't wildcard this team. I think it's, to be fair, compared to the previous wildcard drafts, it's not too dissimilar. And yeah, I think you've got to wait for the doubles, really. There was a season a couple of seasons ago where the early wildcard did really well, but I think in general you need to use your wildcard around these big swingy weeks. And I think, as Nick said earlier, like there is a period which we're sort of in now where you can't make crazy gains, whereas when you get to 32, that is when you really can if you've got all your chips left.
Trig, you were going to say something. I think I cut you off there.
I think with this team, I'd either roll it because I think Newcastle are a bit stuffed and they got a terrible fixture against PSG today, which they'll probably demoralisingly lose, but we shall see. And they've got Linton's out as well, isn't he? He's quite important for them. So I'd probably keep Szoboszlai. But what I might have do in this position is take out Keane or Hall and bring Chalobah in and play one of them instead of Thiago, who put Thiago on the bench.
Yeah,
possibly.
I've thought about that. I have thought about that. I just don't. What do we think Thiago's going to do in these next in these next 3 games? Villa away, Newcastle away, Arsenal at home.
Probably nothing.
Do you reckon nothing? I just think he will score a goal because I
He'll
think
get a
I'm
goal
like
at
you.
some
I'm starting him like you are. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm too scared to bench him. But
the thing with
but my
Chalobah is
options
I'm
him
waiting
are
to sell
quiet.
Hall. I think I don't love making defensive transfers in general, and I think I'm just waiting. I'm waiting till I have to make a defensive transfer. I agree with you on Sober's-line. I think that it is a good fixture for Liverpool, especially with this midweek game for Newcastle. I just don't back him at all as an FPL asset and open play. He doesn't have penalties now either, and that was a big draw.
Well, you don't know
Well,
Salah's
I think
gonna play.
yeah, okay, yeah.
I know
Is
one of
Salah playing today?
I don't know. I haven't looked at the
Oh,
Liverpool
we
lineup.
didn't look at the Liverpool team, did we? Liverpool are Becker, Frimpong, Gravenberch,
Who's
Van
playing?
Dijk, Robertson, Slobosai, McAllister, Salah, Verts, Gakpo, Ekiteke.
So they're all
Ooh.
playing. They've changed their shape again.
The managed
Yeah.
Ekiteke is starting tonight.
That means he's not going to start the weekend. That Nightmare won't like that, will he?
No.
So I know at least one of us. I'm not going to spoil. I know at least one of us has got Thiago bench. Okay, Trig, I'll move on to your team, mate. I'll read it out, and then I'm going to do my usual thing of going and powdering my nose for a second. So Trig's got 3 free transfers, 0.8 in the bank. He's going Sanchez at home to West Ham, Gabriel away to Leeds, Tarkowski away to Brighton, Virgil at home to Newcastle, Elliot Anderson at home to Crystal Palace, Kirky and Haaland away to Spurs, Fernandez, captain, at home to Fulham. Rice is on Saka away to Leeds, with Rice away to Leeds also, and then Thiago away to Villa, and he's benching Lacroix, Joaquin Anderson at the playing players. Yeah, talk us through it, Trig, while I quickly go and powder my nose.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the weakest link here, I think, is Shirky. So, I mean, I could save. You know, I don't know if he's starting tonight. I don't think he was he? So, I mean, I could play him, but I'm probably not going to. The obvious one is just to go Shirky to Enzo, which will still leave me with 3 free transfers next week.
He is starting tonight.
One. Oh, he is. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm definitely getting rid of him anyway. I looked at Virgil out for Senesi and Shirky out for Bumo is one option I've got. Because Virgil van Dijk, probably time is up, and so's Lacroix. So I need to start making a few defensive things. But I've got GUI, which is a bit unfortunate. So I can't get Enzo and Chalobah because I've got too many Chelsea players because I've got Sanchez in goal. So I think of the 2 Chelsea players, Chalobah and Enzo's probably priority for me because I have already got Sanchez, although Jorgensen starting isn't an impossibility in one of those games, I suspect. But yeah, I mean, it looks fairly obvious, doesn't it? That's the one I was going to do. If I was going to do an early transfer, I would have just done Shirky to Bruno to Enzo. And I would have been 2.2 better off because they've both changed in price since then. But I thought I'd wait. And the interesting thing, of course, is Palmer bench tonight. So if Palmer gets half an hour tonight, does this mean he's going to play against West Ham? And if he does, that's not good for Enzo, is it? Or is he going to bench him again for West Ham?
Yeah,
against Arsenal.
Exactly. I think that's more likely. Because I think what we're the situation we're at with Palmer now is because he's not just come back from this injury. He's been back from it in theory for a bit of time, and he's picked up other injuries. I think we're in a situation now where he is just going to play once a week until his minutes are really going to be managed. And I think,
I mean, he might just be on the bench because they're desperate, and they, you know, in case they really do need him, type of scenario. And he could get half an hour against West Ham, couldn't he? And a full game against Arsenal. And I don't know how much they are prioritising that Carabao Cup, though, because they're already halfway out, aren't they?
Yeah.
Let's face it. So maybe they're going to punt the Carabao Cup game.
Palmer's just such an interesting one. I've seen quite a lot of stuff from journalists. It's not concrete news, but they're pretty much all, from what I've heard and listened to, they're just saying that he's going to have this operation at some point, and that he's not going to be at the World Cup, and there's not really another solution to that. I think that's just what it seems to be. Maybe that's hearsay a little bit, but that just from what I've heard, that seems to be the case.
If that was true, though, you'd just have it.
Yeah, but then why didn't he have it? Because he's had this issue for a long time. Maybe I mean it changes, doesn't it? And it gets worse, and you have to rethink things. But
over it now, isn't he? It's a thigh injury he picked up. But it's difficult. I mean, so I probably will just get Enzo. We'll see what happens tonight, of course. Could have a big bearing. I mean, what would you do if, say, Palmer came on for half an hour, scored 2 goals, won them a match, looked great? Then I might have to reconsider, possibly. But again, I probably shouldn't read too much into that. And should probably
exactly, yeah, I think so.
Enzo or Bruno is my choice, really. I think.
Yeah, I think Cherky to Enzo is so obvious, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure I want double Man United midfielders when I'm already captaining one of them, because it's like a lot of eggs in one basket. I think if I brought Bumo in, I'd be more inclined to captain Haaland. That's my usual strategy, because it kind of spreads the risk around a little bit, doesn't it? Yeah, Shirky to Enzo. I could have done it 2 days ago, save some money, but you never know. He could get injured tonight, couldn't he?
Yeah.
I'd be quite pleased if he did, actually, in a horrible sort of way for Chelsea. But I mean, it would make FPL a lot easier, wouldn't it? It would throw a spanner in the works of a lot of people if he got injured tonight.
It's a strange thing about it. A Trig text earlier on said if we did this tomorrow night, it could almost be a completely different, once the games have happened tonight, it could be a completely different what we're talking about, because so much can change, can't it, in the space of 24 hours?
It can. Sabozlai and Ekatike and a lot of players, even the Arsenal players, Saka gets in. I know he's not playing, is he, Saka, tonight?
No, they're all on the bench. Should we move on to Darius's team? I think is next. So Darius has got Sanchez and goal, home to West Ham. Whoa, 5-4-1. I love a Christmas tree. Timber away to Leeds, as is Gabriel. Mukulele at home to Burnley. Tarkowski away to Brighton. Chalobah at home to West Ham. Rice away to Leeds. Wirtz at home to Newcastle. Fernandes at home to Fulham, as is in Burmo. Haaland up front. And where was your captain? Oh, yeah, it's on Bruno and then Burmo, vice captain. And it says here you've already made 2 moves, mate. Is that right?
Yeah, I've already. Sorry, I was just removing someone from the chat. That's the person that has come in on my channel occasionally and spammed rubbish. So I've just I've removed him. Sorry. Anyways, onto my team. Yes, -4. I've just loaded up for the Arsenal team over the next few weeks. I've got I didn't need it. I had a third spot and I thought this was the week to do it. O'Reilly was dropping. That was a good time to get rid of him. And also, who did I get rid of the midfield again? Bruno G. He was dropping as well. So, I mean, I was always going to bring in a United midfielder this week after what we've watched the last 2 weeks. And to be honest, part of me is tempted by a -8 this week and just pissing Wirtz off out of the team and bringing in Cunha and just rolling with the 3 United attack for the 5 goals we score against Fulham. Makes sense to have three of the blokes that are probably going to be scoring the goals against that Fulham team. Sorry, Coleman again. But yeah, I mean the bench this week. Some people said, "What your bench press?" I was like, the answer is Bowen's going away at Chelsea. Yes, he could return. I wouldn't be surprised if he did actually, because every time I bench Bowen, he generally scores. But then Thiago's also away against Aston Villa, and then Wilson's away against Man United. 3 hard away games. The only person who's got a good player on the bench this week is Bart Simpson. We all know my thoughts about Bart with Everton at home. There's every chance that Everton actually win that game because they're better away from home than they are at home. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way it is. The only thing that I might do potentially between now and the deadline is Wilson could come in for Verts based off what I see tonight. And that's pretty much it. Otherwise, it's a set and forget captain probably for the next 15 weeks because we're going to win 15 games in a row. So I think Bruno Fernandes, people sit there saying Haaland permanent captain. Bruno Fernandes definitely permanent captain. 1 game a week. He's going to be great between now and the end of the season. No difficult fixtures left.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the deleted message. It'll be interesting because that particular person, FPL Pickle, is coming on the podcast in a couple of weeks. So it'll be interesting if that particular troller turns up then. Jack, I love a 5-4-1, mate. It's a sight of beauty, isn't it?
No. I think that's the most expensive bench I've ever seen. Unbelievable. I get it, but I know I would be playing one of those forwards for sure over Tarkowski, I think. But I mean, you do have the defenders all have good fixtures. I wouldn't play Tarkowski, I don't think, but I'd probably play. Oh, it's close between Bowen and Thiago. I probably would play Bowen.
You've got Thiago and Bowen bench. I just noticed that. And Wilson.
Wilson's. I mean, going on about Wilson. You're benching Wilson. I know it's against United, but still.
Yeah, where's your consistency, Darius?
Everton have been good.
You got to play they're away from home. They're all away from home. I'm just betting on the home form really more than anything else. So when you base it off that, it's hard to argue I've got it wrong. Like who are you benching instead? Like Thiago away at Villa. Difficult. They're 3rd in the league. Bowen's away at Chelsea. Chelsea are 5th in the league. 6th, maybe they're 10th. I don't know. They're pretty much irrelevant at this point. And then Wilson's obviously away against the 4th place team in the league. It makes sense to bench him.
What about bench?
At least starting Tarkowski, you don't have to make that horrible decision about which one of the other 3 you play. So it's almost an impossible decision.
Bench boost is a good shout.
It is not.
Why not?
Not on a single game week. The bench boost is so powerful in a double.
No, playing double. I think it's overrated in the double game week. What are you going to play Jose Sarr for his 6 goals conceded as your second goalkeeper? I mean, come on, Trig. That's the only person that's going to be doubling in any game week anyway is the goalkeeper.
Exactly. Yeah,
and the goalkeeper's going to be shit.
I reckon DEFCON players in a double game week are the ones to get.
That's true. We do have more bench points in general, and the cheaper players are better this year. That is true.
Just defenders, especially, not attackers, because they could all get 2 points. And, I think all your players will play this week, though, so it's a potential because all those players. I would
consider that seriously.
I guess Virtso could be a bit of a slight risk of not starting, couldn't he?
-8. Can you're in and bench boost.
Wildcard.
Honestly, I do think bench boost is better with defenders in a double game week because you just got the floors on those cheap players are pretty high, aren't they?
DEFCON centre backs or players that you know are going to play both games. Yeah, you imagine Mukiele in a double.
Yeah,
he's getting his floor is 4 points, and it's probably more like 6.
Yeah. Most of us did pretty well in the single game weeks, didn't we? So this is why I think the bench boost is the most improved chip this season, and with the new rules. So that's why the wild card now is stupid because you can make such a brilliant double game week bench boost. I think the points from those bench boosts are going to be like 30 or 40 points, and if you've got a wild card to make it, all the better for it.
Because I don't think the double game is going to be big enough that we're going to have doublers on our bench.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Oh, you can though. You can still make double cheap players that are playing twice on your bench.
If you had players that have one game that are good, like more money.
Yeah, but you will have if you use your wild card, won't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you mean you could end up with like Wilson, Thiago, and Bowen, but with actually decent fixtures instead of fixtures they've got here.
Yeah, and then you'd have your defenders would be doubling that you actually play in your team.
Yeah, that's true. Can we move on
Massive
to?
points. Absolutely massive. In
Let's
theory.
hope so,
Let's go.
Greg.
I got one
This is
last
fighting.
year.
I've actually got more in the bank than I thought. So I've got 1 free transfer, 2.3 in the bank. Currently going Dubravka over Kelleher away to Sunderland. Gabriel and Timber away to Leeds. Lacroix away to Forest. Foden, who's almost 100. I've never really been as short on a transfer in my life. Will almost certainly be Fernandes and will probably be captain. Elliot Anderson at home to Crystal Palace. Enzo at home to West Ham. Szoboszlai at home to Newcastle. Saka away to Leeds. And then Thiago away to Villa. And Haaland, who will probably be my vice, away to Spurs. I've got Anderson away to Man United and Hall away to Liverpool on my bench. I mean, I'll ask your lad's opinion, but I mean, I've never... You know, sometimes FPL really eats into your mind, doesn't it? And, you know, you have to grind away the cognitive gears. But I think Fernandes to Foden and Captain Fernandes is, you know, pretty much most obvious thing with 1 free transfer I could do all year. Jack, what would you reckon, mate?
Yeah, for sure. Of course. It's the obvious move. It's a good move. Sometimes the best move is the obvious move, and you don't need to overthink things.
Yeah. In fact, I was looking at, when I looked at live FPL at the weekend, he was only 25% owned in the top 10K. I know that's going to go up a lot, but I mean, I guess he might be over 100% effective ownership if people captain him, but he's not going to be like Haaland, is he, Trig? Like 170, 180% that we saw the last few weeks.
I don't know. He's been rising every couple of days, I think. Yeah, I mean, there have been a lot of dead teams on Haaland, but I think active managers, most people will have Fernandes, won't they? I guess there are some who've gone Bumo as a differential and not bothered getting Fernandes. I think Late Riser has got Bumo and not Fernandes, but maybe even he'll go with both.
Do you still think at this stage there'll be like dead teams up in the top 10, 100K?
Yeah, there are a few.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Darius, do your worst, mate. Do I need to wildcard, as you say every time you're on the podcast?
Your team's in a bit of trouble.
How did I know you were going to say that?
I mean, I wouldn't be. I'd just be selling. How many? Oh, you got 1 free transfer, 2.3 in the bank. Well, this is no brainer, Gary. You're just selling Foden for Bruno Fernandes. I mean, why? I don't know why you haven't done it already, other than the fact that you want to waste money, because Foden's dropped. I think he's due to drop again tonight. So you've already lost 0.2 there. Bruno's already risen 0.2.
I'm like Jack. I wait for the info.
But what are you waiting for? Bruno to do an injury and do a hamstring on Friday afternoon? Like, what's he? I don't get it, Gary. I don't get it. Explain that to me. Bruno's not playing midweek. The dude's a fitness machine. He's a lock and load number 10. And instead of paying 9.2, you're going to be paying 9.6.
I'm chilled about it, mate. I'm chilled about it. Trig, any thoughts on my team before we finish off, mate?
He does have a point, to be fair. No,
that
looks good.
I didn't do it. If I was going to do it for price raises, I would have done it the Saturday before last, like you did, wouldn't I? Like, I make the argument, Jack. I don't know what you think about this. I don't mind either way to playing, but either you do the early moves and you stay consistently doing that all season to benefit from the price rises, or you don't and you get the information from the team, etc. I think if you start trying to mix it, that's when it can become problematic.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but every example is different. And the thing with Fernandes is you're going to want him for the entire season. So missing out on 0.4 for the entire season is actually quite a lot to be missing out on.
Maybe,
so,
but if I do it tonight, you know, it's sod's law. He'll get injured or something will happen.
Yeah, well, Haaland might, like Jack said, you know, and then it all changes, doesn't it? So,
thing is, with a move like this is one of those moves where I think. No, I was just thinking. Say Haaland got injured, would you then do 2 moves, and do Anderson up, for example? But I'm looking at your team like if Saka got injured, would you? Yeah, exactly. You still have to. Bruno's 100% coming in.
Yeah, I probably would.
And
I
is
probably would.
Foden?
Yeah, you're
Is
right.
Foden 100% going out? He's got to be close.
I mean, even Saka was injured. You'd still rather get rid of Foden, I think.
Yeah. All I was thinking was, if Saka got injured, would you do Saka to Bruno and play Foden, knowing that Foden's not playing? But we're talking about two players that could potentially get injured. That for me is like, that's very, very low risk. Obviously, maybe worth doing it. I probably would do that tonight. To be fair, if Foden's gonna fall again, and that's me saying that.
Okay, all right.
After the games.
I'll take it on board. So, thank you everyone for joining. I'll just quickly plug the lock-in, which I don't know what time it's going to be, lads. Trig, me and you and Darius need to talk about that afterwards. But on Saturday night, we'll be here to react to the game week. Jack, I mean, I don't usually at this stage, I let people plug their channel, because quite often we have like content creators from, very small channels. But I mean, we didn't mention it earlier, but you've actually got a bigger YouTube channel than anyone in FPL, like 600. By all means, tell us about that and whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite different to FPL. I plugged the Fantasy Football Hub YouTube channel if you want to see a bit more of me. If you don't, no worries. But that's it's quite analytical over there, and I chat to some interesting guests. Some people value their opinions, others don't. But it's I enjoy it. But yeah, my main sort of job is my own YouTube channel, which I've had for a long time now, which is sort of narrating Reddit stories. It's called Redditor. Very different to what I do in the FPL space. But yeah, I enjoy that. Done that for almost 7 years now.
Did you start that when you were at uni?
Yeah, last year of uni, I started that in the shed at the bottom of my garden in my house share at uni. Yeah, I'm a YouTube lover, and I always have been. That's been my, alongside football, really, like my main passion in my from my teenage years.
I had a look through some of your highest watched videos last night. Some quite controversial topics come up on the Reddit there.
Yeah, well, you know what Reddit's like. It can be controversial, and people are very opinionated on there, which is a good thing for content. But I mean, in terms of like Reddit for FPL, the fantasy PL Reddit, the subreddit, I think is quite good, because you get different sort of different community to what you get on X, and it can be quite valuable over there. I don't know what you think, Nick, if you use it or not.
Yeah, I use it quite a lot. I spend quite a lot of time looking at Reddit,
Love
FPL, and the Chelsea forum as well over there. And I quite like it. I much prefer it to X. I don't look at X for FPL content anymore. I mean, there used to be quite a bit on there, didn't they? Like interesting stuff. But now it's so hard to find amongst all the rubbish that it's easier just to go on Reddit and look at their stuff. A lot of more casuals on Reddit, aren't there? And but there's still some quite interesting stuff comes up, interesting graphs and various other things.
Is it true that Reddit's not like, as Nightmare said in his video, it's not the algorithm's not messed up? Like, I mean, it's not even really an algorithm, is it? But it's not controlled by some.
No, the algorithm's great. It's just if something's upvoted, then it goes to the top of the feed, and it's self-moderated, and people that upvote or downvote something are actually the majority of the time sensible people. So the good stuff goes to the top, and the bad stuff is either just taken off the subreddit by moderators who are like quite on it across lots of different, like all areas of the website really, or you just never see it because it gets downvoted and therefore it's not valuable.
Yeah.
Sometimes downvoted stuff is good though, isn't it? Because
Reddit
got quite a like left wing sort of a bias.
Yeah, it's very left wing. Yeah.
I'm going on there then.
It doesn't like a lot of sometimes sensible stuff that you can say sometimes, and it gets downvoted.
True, yeah.
Why has that been downvoted when you haven't like said anything bad?
That's fair. And I think my audience on my Redditor YouTube channel are very left wing as well. Probably more left wing than me. So sometimes I'll say something
as well. They all hate
exactly.
boomers.
I'll say stuff that I think is quite reasonable, and they'll go, whoa, like no. And I'm like, really? This is, I mean, I live in the real world. This is a pretty commonly held opinion, and I just get in the comments sometimes. So I have to sort of watch what I say there. But
Wow.
Yeah,
it's an
a very
interesting
young
space.
audience, isn't it? Very young audience. I think,
Yeah,
on that.
very opinionated, very like, you know, morally driven, I would say. And if something's wrong, they say it's wrong, but it's only wrong in their mind
Yeah, they
sometimes.
see things in black and white, don't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Jack, it's been brilliant having you on, mate. If you're up for coming on next season or something, it would be love to have you back, mate.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Trig, do you want to give us a quick plug, mate?
Yeah, Trig Talks FPL over on YouTube. I'll probably be doing a video later, although I have got to go out to the Busker Festival. But I'll put a video up on the implications of the Champions League games, I think, and whether they've altered anything for the coming game week.
Young Darius?
All you need to know is that Man United are winning the league, folks, and you can come and listen to the Deluded Unit, you know where.
And beating Fulham 5-1 at the weekend, obviously.
If that
Right,
comes
thank
in,
you,
I
everyone.
tell you what, you'll never hear the end of it, Gary.
really hope
You'll
it
never
does.
hear the end of it.
And I better give a plug. Please do. Friends of the channel, FPL Double Pivot. I've seen Kieran in the chat today. I think they're streaming at 10 o'clock after the matches. So do go and check them out. Do you guys know where he's rated now? I think he's like just outside the top 1K. Do you know Kieran FPL Discomfort, chat?
Yeah. I've met him a couple of times. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a top rated content creator top ranked content creator in the world.
I knew he was doing
Please
well.
do
Yeah.
check them. Yeah, please go do check them out. Please do like and please do subscribe if you're new around here. Thanks for joining, gents. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the Champions League matches. I need to find the end stream button. See you later, everyone.